September 21st is the World Peace Day. To celebrate it, the movie Remembering the Maurits Kiek Story was aired for the first time in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. This movie has inspired so many people in its debut, largely due to its powerful message of spreading peace all over the world. Remembering the Maurits Kiek Story is a story of a young Jewish man whose courage to return to Nazi-occupied Europe was notably remarkable. A reward for his capture, whether dead or alive, had already been set into action. He served as a covert British MI9 agent and engaged in saving the lives of Allied airmen and others, regardless of race, religion, or creed.
When I produced and directed Remembering the Maurits Kiek Story, it was my goal to have the documentary screened around the world with as many diverse audiences as possible. The evil, the appalling evil, the horrific evil that the Nazi regime represented, the horrors, the cruelty, the bestiality of man's ability to perpetrate this on his and her fellow man. I don't believe we have ever seen this degree of hostility and appalling inhumanity. The story of Maurits Kiek, the courage that one man had to stand up, risk his own life against the overwhelming odds that the Nazi regime represented in order to save Allied airmen and allow them to continue to fly missions against the Nazi war machine needs to be told, needs to be remembered. Because in today's world, unfortunately, we are seeing the rise, once again, of extremism, neo-Nazism, prejudice, the violent hatred of man towards his fellow man. And it is not limited to a European continent. It is throughout the world today. So to be able to share the story in Yogyakarta, in Indonesia, and to engage in questions and answers with young people to discuss the lessons to be learned, for me, is essential. Because if the young, who are the future leaders of society, if they don't learn how to be strong, how to be courageous when facing prejudice, intolerance, racism, and violence, then I fear for my grandchildren and society in general as to where we will be. And please God, if we can tell the story and learn from the story in this cyber age with cyber warfare and digital misrepresentation, maybe we stand a chance of building a more peaceful world.
During this event, it was announced that this movie had been chosen as the best film in Europe Asia Festival of Cinema. At the same time, it also received the Best Enlightenment Award from Borobudur International Film Festival.
I was humbled, but also challenged when I received word that I was chosen to receive the Baroness Bertha von Suttner Award to celebrate World Peace Day in Indonesia. I did not know much about who Baroness Bertha von Suttner was, and to learn that she was the first woman to be the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1905 was an educational exercise for me. The turn of the 20th century was not a time where women typically were able to rise to prominence, let alone to be the recipient of an award of such stature. In America, in the early 1900s, women didn't even have the right to vote, and they were being put into prison for protesting and demanding that right. So, to learn about Bertha von Suttner, who was recognized and acknowledged as a peace activist at that moment in time, an aristocrat who put her own values to the test in order to promote disarmament in Europe, which was so militarily focused, is really a remarkable story. So to celebrate World Peace Day, to remember a woman who was really an initiator of peace activism, it's remarkable that Indonesia chose to remember her and then to acknowledge me as a woman who is following in her footsteps. In 1897, the Baroness actually created a document that she presented to the then Austrian Emperor, Franz Joseph I, calling for the establishment of an international court of justice. Although the emperor did not follow her lead, it's incredible that in 1945, after the horrors of World War II, the United Nations did establish the International World Court. A woman of vision, a woman who understood the spirit to do good and had faith in humanity. When I read that in her Nobel speech, she wrote, "Seek not good from without. Seek it from within yourselves." That comment, as relevant in 1906 as it was, is even more relevant today in 2019. We each have the capacity to do good. We each have a responsibility to do good. All too often, we look elsewhere to find the ability to do good. That's not the way it happens. Peace will only happen if each of us takes the opportunity every day to do good within our family, within our community, and in our larger country. So, as I said, I am humbled to be the recipient of this award, and I'm humbled to be included in the women who have followed Baroness Bertha von Suttner's example. She is a role model to be remembered by all.